1370 WOCA.
Ocala.
All right, thank you for tuning in. There's an event happening this afternoon, and I believe it's sold out. So I hope you're one of the people who gets to go. It's scheduled for 4 o'clock this afternoon at the Elliott Center, and it is with Jim Towey. Jim is on the phone right now. He was a friend and legal counsel to Mother Teresa. Can you believe that? Wow. He served as a senior advisor to President George W. Bush, if Mother Teresa wasn't enough, and as a key aide to Senator Mark Hatfield. He's a member of the Florida Governor Lawton Childs' cabinet, was actually the president and CEO of Ave Maria University in Naples, and the founder of Aging with Dignity, the Five Wishes program. And again, the Hospice of Marion County event, Hospice of Marion County is sponsoring the event that I just referred to at the beginning. Lessons Learned from Mother Teresa is the name of the event. Jim Towey will be the guest speaker this afternoon, sharing his experiences with Mother Teresa. And we're honored to have him on the show with us right now. Good morning, Jim Towey. Good morning, Jim.
Good morning, Larry. Thank you for having me on.
Oh, you're welcome. Are you in Naples right now?
I am. I'm getting ready to get on I-75 and head your way.
I know that drive well. I've done that a few times myself. Wow. How did you end up being, which of these amazing, you're like the Forrest Gump of guests. You've been with all these amazing people. Was Mother Teresa your first amazing person?
Well, my mother was.
Good answer. Good answer.
Yeah. All that diverse resume shows is that I can't hold a job, but I have been blessed to meet a lot of interesting people and spend most of my life in Florida. Grew up in Jacksonville, and so I do think, as you probably know, it's the people that make life so enriching and fulfilling. And Mother Teresa was an extraordinary woman, and it was I had the privilege to meet her in 1985, and then got to know her the last 12 years of her life. So it was fortuitous. I guess if you're a spiritual person, you would call it grace, and that's what it was.
When you're with somebody who's famous in show business, the question that people will ask is, are they the same off camera as they are on camera, or off the air as they are on the air? I'm guessing she wasn't a showbiz person, but I'm guessing She was the same. Am I right? No matter where she was?
No, you are. You're right. She suffered the celebrity, to tell you the truth. I would travel with her some, and you'd go into the airport, and there would just be a crowd that would gather around her, a mob, really. And she really, in fact, she didn't want to have her picture taken, not because like the paparazzi folks chasing Hollywood celebrities, but just because she wanted to have personal encounter with people, not just image encounter. And so I remember one time in Memphis, when there was a receiving line of people that had come out to see her, they were just all in a line. Here's their chance to meet Mother, and they're walking up with their video camera in her face and all, and I would just push the camera, not push it, but get my hand there, going, no, please meet Mother, because she wanted to meet him. She didn't just want her picture taken, So Mother suffered celebrity, and certainly didn't seek it. She was this obscure nun, Albanian, that came to India as an 18-year-old missionary, so she wasn't exactly on the track toward being rich and famous, huh?
Yeah. So did you witness anything miraculous? I mean, we think of her sometimes as a saint. Did you witness anything?
Sure. I mean, you saw her change the direction of the lives of so many people. I mean, in my own life, after meeting her, it changed directions 180 degrees, and I think
really
it was many miracles of love that she performed through just her simple kindness. I remember watching her walk through the home for people with AIDS back in the 80s, and these men had such difficult lives, and they were suffering, and there was no cure. There was no really even a treatment at that point. But she would just go in there and hold their hands and and brush their hair back off their forehead and look in their eyes and just love them. She mothered them, and it was transformative. These guys had a peace that would come over them, and they would just accept that love. And so she always said the most important thing of a human being was to love and to be loved. And I'll be talking a little bit about that tonight or this afternoon in Ocala. that was at the heart of her message, I think, was in the God's love that she was administering.
How did she manage to travel? Did people submit monetary donations to her? How was she able to go around to see all the different people to help them?
Well, Robin, it was when she started out. The first 15 years she was only in India, so she would travel by train, and and trains in India are a nightmare. Then the first mission out of Calcutta was to Venezuela in 1965. She didn't come to the U.S. until the 70s. She would, fly commercial, and they often wanted to put her in first class because when she was in coach, it was a mob scene. They couldn't serve, anybody in the aisle. So they would often ask her to go up to first class, and then when she would get off the plane, she would ask for the leftover food that they didn't serve, and she'd take bags off these planes and then go out, and then she'd give that out wherever destination she went to. So she was at the end of her life, and one time we flew on this little plane, 6-seater, that someone had put in her service so she could go to. She was just old, she was in her 80s, and travel was hard on her back. She had a lot of back pain, and so that made it a lot easier, less physically demanding. She wasn't into all that stuff. It was God's problem to get her from point A to point B. That's kind of how she felt, and she left herself in the hands of God, and He took care of her life, and He did provide, and so she traveled all different ways like that, Robin.
What kind of legal counseling did she need?
Well, I did three things for her. First was protecting the use of her name because she prohibited fundraising. Everybody assumed that she was out there making fundraising appeals. She said she preferred the insecurity of divine providence. So she didn't fundraise, and sometimes people would try to fundraise in her name, and I had to stop that. Or there were even some kind of cheesy things, people selling Mother Teresa dolls, and there was people were trying to make a buck, and so you'd have to contact them and say, no, you can't commercialize her image and likeness. But I did that. I also helped her Indian sisters get into the U.S. Back then there wasn't a religious visa program, religious workers visa that was passed by Congress on the occasion of Mother's death. When she died, they passed it. But while she was alive, they made it miserable for her nuns to get over here. And keep in mind, her nuns were caring for people with AIDS and never charged a penny to the government, to anyone, because they have a vow of wholehearted and free service to the poorest of the poor. And so here the U.S. government was getting the benefit of all this care at no cost, and yet they were making it impossible for her nuns to get in. So I did that. And then thirdly, she was opening all these homes. And often, for example, the AIDS home that opened in Washington, the local residents, were resisting it being there, and at the time in the 80s, they were, what if a mosquito bites this person here and then flies into our house? And, there was just a lot of panic and fear, like you see around Ebola. So those are the three things I did learn.
So is it? Am I crossing the line by asking you? Were you able to do your services pro bono? She's.
Yep.
Yeah, okay, that's
no,
what
although Larry, I was on the deferred comp program. I do think one day the good Lord may take some account. It was a privilege, and she so changed my life. The least I could do was do that work. And I was full time with the Missionaries of Charity for 2 years, so I had that privilege to work up close. So It was a privilege to see her compassion in action.
Can you talk about yourself a little bit? How did you've mentioned it twice now that she changed your life, and what was the difference before and after? What did she do?
Well, when I met her the week she turned 75, and it was just a brief meeting in Calcutta, and I only wanted to go in and meet her and get out. And
did you have a camera?
So No camera, Larry. That would have been a penalty.
Well, I didn't know if you knew that at that time. I thought your first meeting, you made the same mistake any of us would have made.
Yeah, but I was going in there to just meet her and get out, and I didn't want to be around the poor. I didn't want to touch the poor. So I meet her on August 20th, 1985. I walk in. There's this tiny woman. She just turned 75 that week, and she was so focused and serious and intent. She was full of life, full of love, everything I wasn't. And and I was, just dabbling in my faith. And so to see this person so alive in hers was really a contrast point. And then she said, well, have you been to my home for the dying? And I said, no. And so she sent me. She said, "Well, go over there and see Sister Luke." Well, I thought she meant go over for a tour, and so I got there, and instead of a tour, they put me to work, and I didn't want to touch those people, but I did it because I was too proud to admit that I didn't want to do it, and then. Yeah. But that was a barrier. Once that barrier went down, Larry, then my life changed because then the Lord put me to work. But at that point, I was just dabbling in the faith. Now it's the center of my life.
And Jim, I know you're probably going to have a humble response to this, but that's the testimony to you, or testament, whatever the right word is there. I mean, obviously, if I can understand that. You'd be reluctant to, because, you don't know. It's scary, going to uncharted. Yeah. But I mean, the fact that you did it anyway, and the fact that you allowed it to change you rather than saying, no way, I'm getting out of here, that is something to be proud of, is the way I see it.
Thank God. I thank God for the grace that I didn't just run for my life the minute Sister Luke said, "Here, clean that guy in bed 46," which is what she asked. And but I do think Mother introduced me to the joy of service. And when you, it's kind of, parents know this, that when you're doing things with love for people, it's a joy, and it's not a burden, even if it's difficult work. And I didn't really know the joy of service. Again, I'd just been dabbling in it. I was kind of a spectator, so
she rubbed off on you for sure.
Yeah,
I love that. I love that message, Jim. We have to take a little break for weather and a couple of commercials, but we'll be back, and in about 2 minutes, we'll be right back.
The weather is brought to you by myfwc.com. Safe boating is no accident. Clouds will limit sunshine today. There'll be a couple of showers and a thunderstorm in the area, especially during the morning hours. The high 72 to 76. And clear to partly cloudy skies tonight. The overnight low 50 in a few inland spots. Near 60 along the coast where there may still be a shower early on. Tomorrow, mostly sunny, high 75 to 79. For Wednesday, mostly sunny, high 76 to 80. From the Florida Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Joe Lundberg.
Your home is safe, or is it? AA Lock, Dock, and Security. The name has been a staple in Ocala since 1985. Do you have the right equipment in place to have peace of mind when you are at home or away? AA Lock, Dock, and Security has the right people to install and monitor your home or business. Call today for a free on-site security analysis. Call 867-1965. AA Lock, Dock, and Security, 219 Northwest 10th Street, 867-1965.
Your weekends are getting a little retool.
Swear to God, not making a joke.
Check this out.
New shows? Check. We are Some new talent? Check. Let's welcome the guys.
Let's get it going.
Arnie Spanier.
Unbelievable.
TJ Reeves.
This is what you get.
Your weekends are on fire. Because that's how exotic it is. We are
Get it for less at the DIY Home Center outlet. Get top quality real wood cabinets the same or less than the big box stores are selling the cheap stuff. And that's not all. Drywall screws big box stores are $6.47 a pound. At DIY, only $4.99. Plus, DIY has the largest selection of mobile home parts and accessories anywhere. From carpet to doors, get the DIY supplies you need for less. The DIY Home Center outlet. We are your building material closeout store. 2191 Northwest 10th Street, just 2 miles east of I-75.
Are you tired of not using your home's outdoor space for entertaining or relaxation because of all the bugs and leaves? Consider adding a beautiful screen room or glass enclosure. We are Superior Aluminum and Design, a family-owned and operated business with 20 years experience in the aluminum industry, and we are accredited by the Better Business Bureau. If you appreciate superior workmanship, call Superior Aluminum and Design at 817-8058 or visit us on the web at superiораluminumdesign.com.
All right, Jim Towey is on the phone. He's down in Naples, Florida, getting ready to head up here to Ocala this afternoon at 4 o'clock. He's going to be doing a presentation for Hospice of Marion County. The event is called Lessons Learned from Mother Theresa, and not too many people could have a program called that, unless, of course, you worked with Mother Theresa, and he did. He not only worked with her, but he was one of her friends. Pretty awesome to be able to say something like that. It sounds like a lot of it rubbed off on you too, Jim. Would I be too presumptuous in saying that you probably were on this track even before meeting her, though?
I was straddling the track. So I wasn't really on the track. I was, the nice thing about hypocrisy is you can spot, being a hypocrite is that you can spot hypocrisy everywhere.
Yeah.
So
that's very profound.
Yeah, so I was living that kind of life where I was straddling the spiritual life and not really taking it seriously, but and chastising those that I felt were hypocrites. And so meeting Mother, where she was such the real thing, then showed me, but by the grace of God, we're all going to be mired in hypocrisy. So, yeah, I think I was always interested in the spiritual life, flirting with it. My Catholic faith was something that that would get me to go to Mass on Sunday, but it wasn't really it was just a cultural Catholicism for the most part. It wasn't really a relationship. So by the grace of God, you meet Mother, and all of a sudden you see she's so in love. And I know a lot of your listeners are not Christian, and I respect their faiths, but speaking as a Christian, she was in love with Jesus, and it showed, and it affected every aspect of her life.
Oh, I love that. I've never met Mother Teresa, but I've met a few priests who kind of had that effect on me, and just you feel something. Oh, really? You feel something different. Yeah, we got a couple right here in Ocala. Yeah, I'm not even Catholic. Amazing. I'm Christian, but I'm not Catholic. But I have felt that in their presence. Yeah. So tell me,
it's unmistakable when someone's in love with the Lord and really sincerely in love. It just shows in their smile and their unselfishness. It changes their lives.
Can I ask you?
But I got to tell you, Larry, I'm still a work in progress.
I think all humans are.
Well,
we all.
I think you're further down the track than I am, and I'm a work in progress too.
I would the Scripture says the last will be first. You may jump ahead at the wire.
And I will have to stop and say, just let you go first, because I know the rules. Last gets first, but dear God, can I please just give me let me humble myself for a moment here. Jim Towey is coming to account. I understand that this is sold out already, or whatever they're doing.
They're not charging admission. I think they just made people make reservations.
I know. I know. That's why the word's sold out. I don't know how to accept, but it's the anyway. Can I ask you to tell us a story? You told us about the meeting, but is there one that comes to mind that is an absolute greatest moment, like you went to have coffee maybe, or and I don't mean to compare Mother Teresa to Janis Joplin, but the other day we had an interview with a guy who was friends with Janis Joplin, and I asked him the same question, and he had this amazing story of going to watch the movie 2001: A Space Odyssey with Janis Joplin. So I'm going to try that with you too. Did you have any moments like that? Did you go to the movies or have coffee?
Larry, I will say that you're the first to ever ask me about Mother and Janis Joplin.
So, do you have any stories like that?
No, I have a million stories. I mean, I would observe her and follow her like a little puppy dog, because I drove her to a lot of places, and then she would go in and meet with her sisters or meet with the cardinal or bishop, and I'd be out in the anteroom, but I would just watch her, and then but I guess the one that strikes me the most was she was such a mother. And one morning in Mexico, I was at Mass with her in her private chapel there with her sisters. There were just like 6 people in there, and then when Mass was over, she had a list of things she wanted me to go get for her in the United States across the border from Tijuana and San Diego. So as soon as Mass was over, I kind of head out. Well, I get outside the house, and there's a huge crowd there because word had gotten out that Mother was inside the house, and they wanted to get a glimpse of her. So I got in my little pickup truck, and I was barreling to get out of the parking lot and get to the border, and there was this commotion at the front door, and I see Mother come out, and I'm thinking, why is she coming out? She's not supposed to come out till 11 and on her schedule. And then this nun kind of ran over to the truck and said, Mother wants you. And I thought, what does she want? Did I forget something? Why is she coming out? And I came out, and I'm not kidding, Larry. She handed me a peanut butter sandwich and a banana, and she said, you didn't get breakfast.
Oh, wow.
A little thing like, of all the things in her life and all the concerns, but she cared about the individual. And Catholics sometimes turn their saints into little plastic statues, and the beauty of Mother was that she loved life, she loved people, she loved poetry, she loved music. She missed her nuns when they were away. They were like daughters to her. I mean, she loved life, and it was that love of life that she put in service of the kingdom and serving others. So yeah, that story always stuck with me, that little acts like that have such an evangelical effect, huh?
Wow, that is an amazing story, yeah. So you founded Aging with Dignity and 5 Wishes. Is it the same organization, or is that 2 different ones?
Yep. Aging with Dignity promotes and safeguards human dignity in times of serious illness and helps families plan for and discuss what to do. And 5 Wishes is the instrument, the document believe it or not, now, Larry and Robin, they've printed 20 million copies of these, and they're in the hands of people in America, and never advertised, and in 23 languages it's available. And it's a legal document, but it's much more. It helps people talk about comfort and dignity and how they want to be remembered and what they want their loved ones to know. It's in regular English. People are terrified of the healthcare system, particularly when they're sick and weak. Mm-hmm. And so you need to plan for and discuss this. And we've helped, countless families. And Paul Malley, who's the president of Aging with Dignity, is doing a great job growing the organization because it started from scratch. And it really started because Mother Theresa gave me the blessing to do it. And I started it when Lawton Chiles was governor and Jeb Bush was getting ready to run again, and the two of them together joined with me to get it started, and it's taken off. So the people tonight, I think, will get a copy of 5 Wishes. Hospice of Marion County has been great, great partners with us from the beginning, and so that's one of the reasons I'm coming, is to thank them, because they've been there from day one.
Well, Mother Theresa attracted a crowd, and you are too. The phone is lit up here. Do you want to take some of these calls?
I can take a couple, but I got to run at 10, but I'm good till 10.
Okay. Let me squeeze at least one in. Good morning. You're on the air. Thank you for calling.
Yes. How y'all doing this morning?
Good. Did you want to speak to Jim Towey?
Yes. Enjoying your show, man.
Okay.
Jim, just been listening to you. I'm a born-again Christian. And when you was talking about when you met Mother Theresa and how you was afraid to touch the people, and God just put in my spirit, it was like that was your road to Damascus. And He really changed you, because God to come in and change us from our uncomfortable into our comfortable abilities. So, and I thank you for, your service, and keep the good work up, because God got more in store for you, and there was no one like Mother Theresa. There was but one, and she was the greatest.
How nice of you. What a beautiful, encouraging message. Thank you, brother.
Thank you. Yeah, excellent call. Let me squeeze another one in. Good morning. You're on the air with Jim Towey.
Good morning. I was on the board, the district board here of when HRS had the district boards, which I missed when Mr. Tour when you were with HRS here in the state of Florida.
Oh yeah, sure.
And I really enjoyed that. I think you did a great job, but it was short.
Yeah, well, I got thrown out of office. Remember, they didn't confirm me when Charlie Crist actually led. Charlie Crist led that mob, but that's 20 years ago. But it was a privilege. I loved that job. Being secretary of HRS and running that in Florida was a great experience.
I was on the district board here, and it's never been the same since they came in and Jeb Bush dismantled all the district boards and stuff, and it's just gone downhill. Seemed like ever since. But
I'm
but
sorry to hear
while
that.
you were there, I enjoyed it, and it was a privilege to be on the board here. I was on the board here for 8 years. I was appointed by Lawton Chiles and stayed on until they got rid of him. But I understand you also went to Washington for a small stint too. Is that correct?
Yes, sir, I did. It was a great experience there too. So yeah,
it's
been a wild ride. You put your hand in the Lord's hand, and He's going to take you around. He's going to take you for a spin.
I love that.
Thank you for the call. That's another great call.
Thanks for
wow.
the call.
Yeah, obviously touched a lot of people yourself. So did Mother Theresa ever talk politics?
Well, she didn't read the newspapers, but she seemed really tuned into things, And I remember when she was coming to Washington when President Clinton was president, and there was a national prayer breakfast, and they asked her to speak at it, and of course President Clinton would be there, and everybody was really worried about Mother Theresa getting exploited or used for political purposes. That was one of my jobs, is to protect her from that happening. And she handled it so beautifully. She met privately with them. She prayed with them, and but she really liked. I was with her when she saw President Reagan, and she really, you could tell with Mother, it was what she really loved President Reagan, and he was good to her, and they liked each other. And she went to see him when he was out of office. She called up one time. She said, "I think I want to go see him when I'm in the U.S., and can you make that arrangement?" And I said, "Sure." She gets to California, to Los Angeles, in this big tower, this big, Century Plaza, where President Reagan's post-presidency office was, and the people just poured out of the Merrill Lynch offices. Everybody came out. People that were working in the the sandwich shop there in the lobby. Everybody came out, and so she saw them all, and we got her to the elevator. She went up there, and they were like just old friends. She wanted to go see him because she said to me, "I bet nobody goes to see him anymore." And I just thought, how solicitous was that? So yeah, she understood it a little bit, but she was really a daughter of God, daughter of the world, and not really, she liked America. She felt bad for the spiritual poverty in America, so much loneliness, so many people feeling unloved, unwanted, unwelcome. So she saw that poverty as much more difficult to reach than in India.
Oh, wow. That's so profound as well.
Yeah.
I know you got to run. Thank you so much for being on the air with us, Jim. Do you want to leave us with a website, Aging with Dignity, perhaps? Or I know we have
just agingwithdignity.org, or they can Google 5 Wishes. But if your listeners have not had these discussions, it's really important, more than ever, to make sure your loved ones know what you want or don't want in times of serious illness. Larry, I worry about euthanasia being, it's always easier to kill somebody than to care for them.
Oh, yeah, I know. I'm with you on that one.
At the same time, Western medicine sometimes doesn't know when to stop, so you're trying to find where's the point where you maintain your human dignity. But in the face of imminent death, you let go, and you have people around you that love you and manage pain. And I think Hospice in Marion County's been doing that, and I'm looking forward to being with them. And there are other hospice organizations in the area that do great work. So it'll be a great day, and I'm looking forward. Just say a prayer I don't get ticketed on I-75. I tend to speed, Larry.
Oh, okay.
Be careful, and what an honor to be able to have chatted with you today, Jim Towey. Thank you. All right, we've got to take a break. This is WOCA Ocala.
Fox News Radio, I'm Pat O'Neill. It's the sound of winter in Bismarck, North Dakota. A lot of shoveling there, and in Eden Prairie, Minnesota, where this Home Depot worker says,
I think last year it got so cold so quick and stayed for so long. I think people are really scrambling to try and get things.
At least a foot of snow and falling temperatures forecast for some areas of the upper Midwest. President Obama at the APEC summit in Beijing announcing a new visa deal with China for tourists and business people.
He said China's rise is inevitable, but he called on that nation
to uphold international rules and norms as it expands its influence.
China's leaders say their nation's rise is a peaceful one.
Fox Radio's Alistair Wanklin in Beijing. A new study says detergent pods, those squishy laundry packets, have led to 700 accidental child poisonings. Most weren't seriously hurt, but some were hospitalized and one died. Fox News, we report, you decide.
Geico presents Fan Mail to a Pig.
Dear Maxwell, first off, I really enjoy your commercials about Geico's app. I watch them over and over and over. They make me